Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Today in this tutorial, I'll be showing you step by step how to make your very own Kandi rotating cuff. Some people also refer to it as a 3D rotating cuff or an epic rotating cuff. But yeah, so this is what we're going to be making. As you can see, there's this part that spins around, which is super fun. They are definitely an attention piece. People definitely always ask about them, but let's just hop right into this tutorial. So first things first, what you're going to want to know is this is actually two separate pieces. So the two separate pieces are, one is like this, which the majority of it is just a really big X-base cuff with 3D added onto it at the top and bottom. So it looks like this by itself. And then the second part, which is the part that you slide on and spins, is basically just another X-base cuff with the 3D added to the outside like this. And you can definitely build these up a lot more. I just did it simple, just so it didn't stick out too much, but you can totally make this as big or as short as you want. But to start, we're going to put this one aside and we're going to focus on this part of the cuff. What you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to find out what size you're going to make the starting of the cuff. So you're going to want to put it on your wrist and see what feels comfortable. I do want to note that sometimes when you just wear singles down here, you're going to make it a little bigger just because it is so tall. The one I'm going to be making is going to be 36 because that is the same size as this one, and that seems to fit on my wrist really nicely and comfortably. But if you want to wear it higher up per se, you can just make it bigger and bigger until it fits where you want it. Now to start the X base, what we're going to want to do, you're going to want to grab some of your plastic stretch cord, just this stuff here. I will also link everything I use down in the description in case you guys aren't quite sure, then you can read and see what it is. So for the one I'm making in the video, this one is the super cute little plasticky spikes with some yin and yangs and some smiley faces. But this one we're making is going to be a rubber ducky themed one because I found these super cute rubber ducky charms. And the main focus is going to be this big, glittery, shiny, diamond-y duck. We're going to work on this part of the cuff. And one thing I do want to note is sometimes like this can take a lot of beads. But if you do this part and beads you don't really like the same, let's say you have a least favorite one or a color you just don't really like that much, you can put it in here because you really don't see it that much. And it's kind of fun to have multicolors. But just for the tutorials, I'm just going to do two, so it's really easy to tell. But you're going to want to grab your string. And remember, mine's going to be 36. So you're going to start by adding beads in the pattern of 2, 1, 2, 1 in the colors that you're wanting. So for mine, we're going to be doing orange and white. We're going to add on 2 beads onto our string, 2 beads on like this. Then we're going to take the one white one, put it on, 2 more orange ones, put them on, and then another white one, and you're going to repeat that pattern until you end up on one of the ones, because then when we tie it, it will be the same pattern. Because you don't want to end with 2 orange here and 2 orange here, or you'll have 4 and it won't really work for the design. And sometimes you're like, oh, 2 more is a little too loose, but if I take 3 away, it's a little too tight. I always go with looser better. You can always stack some singles under it to bulk it up. But you're going to continue to do this until you get to your desired size that fits around your wrist. Now that you've all 36 beads on your string, it will look something like this. And remember, we started with 2, so we're ending with the 1 color. Now, once we have this all done, you're going to simply move all your beads down to one side of your string and tie it off as you would a normal single. I like to tie mine 3 times just for safe measure, and sometimes 4, depending. These ones I like to tie extra just because they do have more weight to them. And now we're going to have our 2 strings left. We're going to have the longer one and the shorter one, so we're going to want to just trim the shorter one off. Now our string is coming out between these 2 beads here, and I want it to come out with the white one, so I'm just going to take the string, and you can work with whatever amount of string you're comfortable with. When we do run out later on in the video, I will show you how to tie more on in case you don't know, and I will make sure it's in the description so you know what part just to skip to if you're just wondering how to tie on our string. But we're just going to take our string and put it through this white bead right here and pull it all the way through. Okay, now for the next part, we're going to start to make these little X's. So if you look on the inside here, we can see that 2, 1, 2, 1 is that row we just did. So now we're going to be doing the row that goes pink, blue, pink down that makes this little triangle shape. And to do that, we're going to take our string, we're going to add on our beads, orange, white, and then orange. Then it will look something like this. Now you're going to let that slide all the way down. We're going to take the single we made, and since our string is coming out of this white bead, we want to be putting it through this white bead over here. Put it through, pull it all the way, Sometimes it will look like this and you'll think it's wrong, but it's not. You just pop up the white bead and then it looks like that. And we're going to do that all the way around, but I'm going to show you one more time. We're going to take our string. We're going to put on one orange bead, one white bead, another orange bead. It will look like this. Slide it down. Since it's coming out of this white bead here, we're going to skip these two and put it through the next white bead. Pull it all the way through. And it will look like that. So you're going to go ahead and do that all the way around till you get back over here. Alrighty, once you get to your last one, it should be looking like this. And for our last one, we're just going to add on orange, white, orange again. Slide it all the way down. And then we're going to put it back through that first white bead we did at the beginning. And then your first row will be done. It will look something like this. You want to make sure you're pulling it tight all along the way. But now we're going to keep building this bigger and it will start to form upwards. In order to do that, we are going to work off the points. So our string is now coming out of this white bead here. We're going to put our string up through this orange bead and up through the point white bead. So then as you can see, it's coming out of the white bead here. Pull it through nice and tight. And then if we look back at our finished bracelet, we can see that we have now done this first little triangle. And the whole reason these are called X bases is because it starts to make these little X's in your cuff. So now that we have done these little triangles, we're going to now go on to this next triangle that will finish our first X. And for anyone that already knows how to make an X base, just so you know, it is 5 X's high. So now to do the next layer, we're just going to do what we were doing again. We're going to grab an orange bead, a white bead, and orange bead, put it on our string like that. But now, since it's coming out of this white point bead here, we're going to skip the orange, white, and orange and put it through the next point bead. And then it will look like that. So we're going to do it again. Orange, white, orange, put it on our string, let it go down. Since it's coming out of this point bead, we're going to skip these until we get to the next point bead, put it through, pull it nice and tight, and then it will start to look like this. And as you can see, we have created our first X. You're going to do that all the way around and I'll meet you at the end again. Now, once you're at the last one on this row, we're going to add on our orange, white, orange, put it on our string, and then since it's coming out of this point bead, we're going to put it through this point bead. This is the first one we started with. Pull it through. And then it will look like this. You want to make sure you're pulling it nice and tight. You can see that it is starting to curve up a bit, and that's what you're wanting. Now, to start the next row, every time you finish a row, your string is going to be coming out of the wrong bead because it's coming out of this point bead and we need it coming out of the new point bead. So we're going to take our string and we're going to put it up through this orange bead and this white bead. As we can see, we've made our first X here. You're going to have 5 X's. So this is easier to see it on, but you're going to have 5 of these. And then I will check in again halfway, and then I will check in when we're done, show you what it looks like so you know you're on the right track, and to show you how to finish it off. Now, this is like kind of a halfway check-in. It should be looking like this. And as you can see, if we count our X's, we have 1 X here, 1 X here, and half an X up here. So we're 2.5 X's done out of the 5. And it looks like this. It should be standing up now. And it looks something like this here. Just going to keep going, but I am going to show you how to tie on more string as I am running low. And how you're going to do that is you're just going to grab a separate piece of your plastic stretch cord. You're going to take the 2 ends. You're going to tie them in a knot together, just like that. You're going to tie them in a double knot. Make sure you're pulling it really, really tight. And then you're going to tie it in a triple knot. I just do that because I have had double knots come undone doing this. And then as you can see, there's a knot holding the 2 together. There's these 2 little bunny ears of string. You're just going to snip those off just like that. And then there you go. Your string is tied on. You can continue to work on it. But I will see you guys on the last row and show you how to finish it off. Now that you are to the top, we can look and we can see that we have 5 X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is how big we want it for the base part. But now to finish it off, because we don't leave it here with the point beads, what you're going to do is your string is going to be coming out of one of these point beads. We're going to add on 2 beads. 2 beads onto our string. Let them slide down. And since it's coming out of this point bead here, we're going to skip over to the next point bead and put it through there. pull it through, and then it will look like that. Again, you're just going to take 2 beads, put them on. Since it's coming out of this point bead, you're going to skip over to put it through the next point bead and pull it through. And this is going to be how you close it off. So I will meet you over at this end to show you how to tie it off. Now that you've done that all the way around, it should look like this. Now to tie it off, your string is now coming out of your last point bead here. I'm going to take the end of the string and you're going to put it in between these beads right here. Like that. You're going to pull it over so it's under the string that connects these together. You'll pull it through until you have a nice little loop on this side and a straight string here. Pull it all nice and tight and then tie the loop and the string together. I usually do 3 knots again, and then you're going to cut off the loop here. Just like that. And now the base of our rotating cuff is done. It'll look something like this. So now for the next part of the base is going to be adding on this 3D part here to the top and the bottom X's. And so basically these take up from one of your bottom point beads to this bead. This much room, top and bottom. And this is where you can totally expand this. Like you could add more here to here. You can make them bigger, whatever you want. But I'm just going to show you a simple small one. So let's get started. I like to leave on the string that we just cut off the loop because you can totally work with it here. What we're going to do to make the points on here, we're going to do the top of the point and then the bottom 4. So we're going to do 2 colors, 1, 2 colors on our string. It'll look something like this. We're going to let them go all the way down. And now it's coming out of this point bead here, and we're going to put our string through the next point bead. Pull it through, then it'll make this point, and that is what you're going to want to do the whole way around. So to show you again, we're going to put on 2 orange, 2 white, and then 2 orange. And now since our string's coming out of this point bead here, we're going to skip these 2 and put it through the next point bead. Pull it through and make sure it's nice and tight. And sometimes it'll look wonky like this, but you just pop the beads in place and it will look like that. You're going to do that all the way around until you get back over to here. Alrighty, now that we have the last one done, it should be looking like this. So now to do the bottom part of this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your string and weave it through these 2 beads and the new point bead here. So now your string will be coming out of this point bead here. And what you're going to do is you're going to add on 2 beads onto your string, let them go down. It's coming out of this point bead. We're going to put it through this bead here. So it would be the one right there. And then it will look like that, which starts to form the new X's. And then to do it up this way, you're going to add on your 2 beads on your string, let them go down. And we're going to put it through this white point bead here, just like that. Now we're going to add on 2 more orange beads, and then you're going to put it through this white bead here. And as you can see, that is now one full 3D part on here. So you're going to continue to do that all the way around until you get back over here. Now, once you have put on your last set, it should look like this around the top, just like that. Now, to tie off the top, your string is going to be coming out of one of your new white point beads, and we're going to weave it up through the 2 orange beads beside it right here. Just like that. So now it's coming out of this orange bead, and we're going to do just how we tied off the top. We're going to slip it under the string in here. And I've used to tie it just onto a bead and stuff. It's totally up to you how you like to tie off your things. Once it's like this, you'll have your loop in your string, tie it 3 times, cut off all your extra, and then it will look something like this. So now we have to do the same thing on the bottom. But as you can tell, we don't have a string coming out of the bottom. So now what you're going to do is you're going to get a separate piece of your plastic stretch cord. And you're going to pick any point you want to start on. I like to start on one of the lower beads, so the white ones. Stick it through here. And then what I do is I just leave this and kind of hold both while I'm doing it. But right here, you can just tie it on, cut off the little piece, and use this piece. Up to you. We're just going to do the same exact steps we did here, down here. I'll see you guys when we're done the bottom part. Alrighty, once you have it all done, it will look like this. And congratulations, you are finished the first part of your rotating cuff. They already look so cute. If you like it, you can totally leave it like this too. It's really cute. You could always add some pins in here. Super cute. But now we're completely done with the base part. So now we'll be moving on to the outer 3D ring. And this one, so this one we made 36, I believe. But this one we're going to be making 51 because it has to fit around it. So you're going to do this one 51 or however many to fit it around. Sometimes you gotta measure. You just want to make sure that when you put it on, there's enough wiggle room and that it's snug. And so for this one, when we flip it down, you can see it's 2 X's. This one was 5. This one will only be 2 X's. So you're just going to go and do the exact same first step we did for this here, but instead of going 5 high, you're going to do 2. You're going to start it and finish it the same way. Everything's the same that we did here, just on a different one. When this is done, I'll check in, show you what it looks like, and then we'll move on how we add the 3D part. Now, once you have your second X-base cuff done, it should look something like this with our 2 X's. You're always going to want to make sure you line it up with your other one just to make sure it's the right size. Now, your next one should look like this, so we're just going to tie it off together. Remember how we tie it off? The string's coming out of this bead. We're just going to put it under these 2 orange beads, under that string there, pull it to the side like that, and then we're going to make our little loop, and we're just going to tie it in a couple knots, nice and tight. 3 times. I always just do a triple knot just for safe measure. And then you're going to want to cut off the little loop again. Alrighty, now that you've cut off the loop, you're just left with the long string. And just like we did before, we want to make sure it's coming out of a point bead. So we'll weave it through this white one right there, just like that. And now if we look at the other one, so now as you can see, we've done the white ring. That is done. Now we just have the navy blue and then the accent. And so if we look, the navy blue is just doing what we did on the other one times 2, just like the other one, except for we don't have the big space between them. We just have no space between them. So we are just going to do it like we were doing the other one. So we're going to take our string, we're going to put on 2 orange beads, then whatever color you're doing, I'm going to do black in here, and then 2 more orange beads. So we have the 5 on our string, and then since it's coming out of this point bead, we're going to skip these 2 and put it through this point bead here. You'll pull it through to make the new little point, just like that. And you're going to do that all the way around. And I'll see you at the end on how to drop it down again, just in case you don't want to go back in the video. Now that you have the top layer done, it should look something like this. And you are just going to continue to do the steps that we previously did on the taller one here, on here. So we're going to take it and we're going to weave it through to the point bead, add our 2 beads, go through here, add 2 more, go through the next point, and so on, just like we did before. You're going to do that on the top and the bottom, just like we did. And then I will see you when this part is all finished, and I will show you how we add on the last cool things and a couple cute things you can do to it to make it a little extra. Now that you are done the inside for your rotating cuff, it will look like this. And now basically if you want to be done, you can just put it on top, squish it down, and you can be done, and it rotates. But what I like to do, like on this one, is add some fun extra beads. And you can always build these up. Like this is a pretty small 3D. You can build it up as much as you want. But I always like to add something fun. So for this one, I'm actually adding these rubber duckies. I'm just going to kind of put them in a crisscross pattern across the whole thing. And I have this like special diamond one that I'm gonna pop in like the middle. How to add these, all you do is you would just use these point beads, start it off, put on your ducky or whatever you're using, and then you'd put it through the next one. Pull it nice and tight, and then it would look like that, and you'll just keep going around. And if you don't like the look of the string, you can always weave it through and add them on like that. So I'm going to quickly do this, and then I'll show you the end result. Then once you're all done, it will look something like this. The duckies don't stay in place too well, so I'll probably add some extra string and weave it through a couple extra beads. But now you've made your very own rotating candy cuff. They're super cute. People really like them. They're really fun. You can personalize them as much as you want. So yeah, they're just super fun, super cute. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I love you all. Bye!